It was busy again on the summer on the island of Sodor. All the engines were working really hard, and the Fat Controller is very impressed. There was a lot of work to do, but the engines didn't mind. They all knew that they'd get the job done in time. All the engines were working really hard and making up for lost time. But not all engines were impressed. "Oh great," said James, "another goods train. Why can't I join in the fun and pull passengers and the rest at the sheds?" "It's your turn," said his driver. "Every summer all engines have each turn of the day by pulling heavy goods trains. Today it's your turn." "Oh great," said James. "Just be lucky like the heavy mixed traffic engines like Thomas and Percy get to pull the goods trains as well." "At least it's not as bad as you feel," said the driver. Said James. "Dirty engines like Thomas and Percy should do it." James liked Thomas and Percy, but the way in the mood that he was in, he didn't like anybody doing his work. Later that evening, the Fat Controller gathered all the engines at the station. "I am very proud of you and you're all working really hard, but unfortunately you need help. Another engine is here to come and help you to pull the heavy goods trains and passengers." "But sir," said Gordon, "will the passengers be taken as well?" "It is already been arranged," replied the Fat Controller. Just then James arrived. "Sorry I'm late, sir," said James. "I had to take another goods train. What's all this about bringing another engine?" "As I was saying," replied the Fat Controller, "this engine's going to help pulling the goods trains and passengers." "Who is it?" said the engines. "Wait and see," said the Fat Controller. "Now you all go back to the sheds." "Yes, sir," said the engines. Later the next morning, all the engines came to the station to meet the engine. It seemed like a long time, but then the engines soon found out who it was. It was Stepney. "Hello," said Stepney. "Very glad to see you," said Thomas. "You're the most usefulest engine ever," said Duck. All the engines agreed. "Of course I am," said Stepney. "I've come to help you pull the goods trains and passengers. I take passengers as well," said Bertie. But just then, James arrived. "Sorry I'm late again," said James. "Another heavy goods train I have to take." "Are you come to help Stepney?" "Yes, I have," said Stepney. "I come to help pull the passengers. I hope you do a good job," said James. "Right now I must go to my next train. Goodbye." And with that, James left. Later on, Stepney was collecting his passengers where Edward was collecting some fuel tankers. Just then, an unfamiliar horn appeared behind Edward. It was Diesel. "What are you doing here?" asked Edward. "I'm delivering those brake vans have been brought to the other railway where all your engines can get the job on time," said Diesel. But then Diesel saw Stepney. "Who is this?" "That's Stepney," said Edward. "He's come to help with their goods trains and passengers." "Oh, great," said Diesel. "Another steam engine. One day, you engines will be scrapped and replaced by diesels. Now, ta-ta!" And with that, Diesel left in fury. Stepney, who heard everything, began to worry. "Was that he said is true?" he asked. What Diesel said Edward. Of course not. Nothing's true what Diesel says. No one ever listens to him. And, well, looks like the engines are ready. Now I must go back to my work. Goodbye. Stepney collected his passengers and he puffed away. At the next station, Thomas appeared with Annie and Clarabelle. Hello, said Stepney. Looks like you're very busy. I am indeed, said Thomas. You look very busy by pulling your passengers. I am. Well, I'd love to stay and chat to you, but I must be off now. Goodbye. Stepney looked very proud. Later on, Stepney had finished pulling his passengers, and so he went back to the station for a rest. He noticed Thomas shunting some trucks into the station. Hello again, said Thomas. Looks like you're very busy. I am indeed. Because I'm shunting those trucks into the station for Diesel to collect. Oh, him, said Stepney. I don't like him. Me neither, said Thomas. When he first came here, he caused us all kinds of problems. But then we believed him, but then we stopped believing him, and then we looked back at him. He told Edward that someday all diesel engines will be scrapped. He's been saying that since he arrived. But speaking of him, I must get to my train, and then shunt his trucks into his siding where he can find it, and get back to my other jobs, or the Fat Control will not be impressed. Goodbye. All right, said his driver. Time for the next job. Later on, Stepney was pulling a goods train when he met Henry on the turntable. Hello, said Henry. You look very busy. I am indeed, said Stepney. You look very pleased for yourself. What are you up to? I'm just turning into a turntable so I can collect my next goods train. You look very busy yourself, said Stepney. Just be careful that no of the diesels get you. Oh, him. He'll be all right. He won't even go near my goods train. Well, thank you very much, Henry, said Stepney. Right now I must go to my next train. Goodbye. And with that, Stepney left. Meanwhile, at the station, Diesel wanted to collect his train, and then he hummed away. Percy was working hard as well. He had a long busy morning, and so he went in the sidings to have a rest at the station. Meanwhile, Diesel was having trouble with trucks. The trucks kept pushing and pulling him backwards. Diesel tried to pull the train as hard as he could, but the trucks kept holding him back. Hold back! Hold back! Giggled the trucks. Diesel was cross. He pulled so hard that the coupling snapped, but he didn't notice. And so the trucks went rolling backwards back to the station. Percy was unaware about the runaway trains, and so, before it was too late, he heard the alarm going off. And before it was too late, it crashed into Percy, causing exploding fire. And so, Percy was stranded. Oh! How? Said Percy. Stepney saw everything and caught the breakdown train just in time before any engine did, and collected Percy and shunted him back into another siding. Later on, all the engines gathered round at the big station. The Fat Controller arrived. Well done, Stepney, for collecting and rescuing Percy, he said. Thank you, sir, he said. Now, what I need to know who is responsible for lighting those fires. Just then, Thomas arrived with Diesel. What's going on here? Asked the Fat Controller. We found Diesel on the main line broken down, sir, said Thomas. And also it was him who shunted his train backwards. So, said the Fat Controller, it was you. You won't cause problems no matter what you do. Thomas, take him away until I decide what to do with him. Yes, sir, said Thomas, and then he puffed away with Diesel. The engine said goodbye to Stepney as he puffed back to the Bluebell Railway. and all the engines were back together working really hard, once again, and once more. Diesel had once again left in disgrace, but though all other engines say that it's not just Diesel that have been causing trouble around the island, but also know that the engines, of course, just went back to the usual jobs by causing a firelight. Once again left this way.